because we've gone long. By the way, I'm going to write this down because I'll forget it. I'm going to get to this in a second. But first, one of the biggest characteristics of success, and this is a writer down there, okay? So you should write this one down. Give me the guy that shows up every day or the gal that shows up every day. Give me the person that shows up every day, and I will bet on them before I will bet on the genius that shows up inconsistently. Most of winning is in the showing up. So if you can show up day in and day out, you can't be beaten. You cannot be denied. Give me mediocrity that shows up consistently, and I will produce for you a winner. That's the name of the game. And so we can now be more consistent in where we show up and how we show up than ever before, but you got to show up. You showed up today and you put the time in and you put the effort in and you put the energy. Some of my VIPs out there, I see you, right? You were on with us 1 hour before. And now here we are. And this is day 1 of day 5. So showing up is largely correlated to being successful. I 100% causally know not showing up is 100% guaranteed for failure. So showing up is the first step. Now, some of you were asking, well, Jason, English is not my first language. I have challenges with English. There has never been more of a leveler of an opportunity than with AI. Because for some of you, your language is the biggest sticking point, or should I say, was the biggest sticking point. Do me a favor sometime over the next 48 hours. I want you to audit your language and notice every time you use the word is. Because when it comes to digital products, a lot of those ises have become wases. I know that didn't sound as cool as if Tony Robbins would have said it, right? He would have found a way to say it better than me, but ises have become wases. I don't know if we could get that trending on X or anything, right? But that's the reality, my friends. The ises have become wases. Now, I get it. We're like, Iman and I are like these 2 big dudes and we're very masculine and we ooze all the stuff that Andrew Tate wish he could have. I'm kidding, of course, right? But this is really, truly, we've reached people from all over the world, men and women provided. By the way, the economy, if it was a gender, it would be female. Women control 80% of the purchase decisions. So ladies have a huge advantage here. Regardless of that, all of you have one advantage for sure, and that's called affinity. People would rather buy it from people that look like them, that sound like them, that talk like them, that walk like them. So if there's 50 products on the market from 50 different people, there are 50 sub niches that only those people could sell in and nobody else could sell in. Some of those niches, you either sell in them or nobody gets a benefit. And one of my ises that needs to go into a was is, Iman, is I keep using the word selling. I'm old school, right? I'm still waiting for the milkman to come and drop the milk off in the morning, right?
That's what you used to have to do.
That's what we all had to do. If 100% of the pie was the digital product business, over 50% of it was the selling of the digital product. We had to spend more time on how to sell the product than we did on how to develop the product. And that has completely changed. Now, if you want to get into the multi-millions, selling is a very useful skill to develop. Now, here's the cool thing. You can earn and learn simultaneously. It's better than doing them sequentially. Most people want to learn really for a long time and then hope to earn. I would rather you never learn and only earn, because at least you made money. You might I don't know how electricity works. I don't know how this thing works. I know if we flip a light switch, though, the light comes on. So I don't have to learn electricity to earn the light. Okay. So, but if we can earn while we learn, then that compounds over time. And that's what I've done for 18 years. Every year I've invested into the next year. So I took what I've learned this year and I put it into the next year, and I consistently showed up. I have been. Now, I haven't been as famous because that was never my agenda or my goal. My goal was to show up where I was of value and support whoever was giving the most value at the time, which is why I'm here today.
Well, you still made $250 million from it, so I guess.
Making it's one thing. Keeping it's another thing, right? Like, I can't teach you how to do that because I still haven't mastered that yet, but I know how it comes in.
But by the way, I guess, because I know you're a very humble individual, so you're not going to put this out, but for example, when you go to these big companies like Zoom, or you consult for these big individuals like Alex Hormozi or Tony Robbins, whatever, like how much are you charging per hour? Because it's just so they understand, you're coming in every day and you've taken the time out of your day to come and help and spit some game.
Yep. So we start at $3,500 an hour, and let me give it its proper due: $3,500 an hour. Let that sink in for a second. And that's the warm up fee. Typically, like with clients, with Tony and Dean Graziosi, they then give me more money to develop things for them. So we start with a fee and then we explore opportunities above and beyond that. So that's where it starts at. And that's unfathomable to most of you. Now, let me give you a little tip. This is hot. I don't think you even know this, Iman. The first consulting I ever did was a free bonus to a digital product that I sold for $47.
I did not know that.
In 2008. And you know why? I said, hey, listen, I want to do this consulting stuff. I think it'll be of value. I like it. I want to learn it. So let me learn while I earn. So let me put a free 30-minute consult out for a $47 digital product. It doubled the conversion of the $47 product. So I was like, nice, that's a conversion hack, right? If YouTube would have been a thing back then, I would have went viral with that right there. Like secret conversion hack, double sales. It means give 30 minutes of your life to every customer. But I cut my teeth by doing several consults for 30 minutes and I got pretty good at it. And then I said, I don't want to do it for free anymore. Somebody said, I'll pay you $150 an hour. And I said, whoa, that's a lot of money. So I said yes to that. And then pretty soon the schedule filled. And then I said, you know what, I'll do it for $250 an hour. And then enough people said yes. And then $350. And then it kept inching up. And $3,500 is actually below market rate value right now. I need to increase it again. But
that's friends and family.
That's friends and family discount. Yeah. But here's the lesson. That scales to you regardless of where you're at. At the end of the day, forget skill, supply and demand and scarcity rule the roost. All the other stuff is just, it's cherries on top. So what you do is you start out small and get wins to a small group of people. And so you're undeniable of your value. And then you say, I want to go to the next level. Who will come with me? And only 8% of them will come with you. But it's always the best percent that want to reach the next level. So 10% of the market spends 10x what the rest of the market does. That's an economic principle. And so you want to get rich, sell a lot of people a small thing first. And then mathematically, not because you're good, but because of math, 10% of them will buy the upgraded level. 10% of you want to go to the next level. It's just a mathematical truth. Now, I don't know if it's Owen, if it's Stacy, if it's Caillou here, if it's Abdul, if it's Amit, if it's funny content 09, right? Like funny content 09. I don't know if you're that committed, man. You didn't put the real name in the chat right there. I don't know who it is, but give me enough of you and I will create miracles. And that's what Iman has done as well. Now, we want to be intentional about it. We want to give you advantages if at all possible. This is what we did in the Amazon days. Well, we can get to that later. Let me get a couple more questions in before we have to wrap up here. Where can I put the password in? Download the workbook, WAVE.
All caps.
All caps.
I have one that I've actually seen a few times.
Yeah.
A bunch of people are asking, when it comes to an AI solution, does ChatGPT work? I have my opinion on it, but I wanted to hear from you first.
Yeah. So my dad was a business teacher. He taught accounting first. He taught intro to business. And then he taught economics, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now, here's the thing about my dad, and I love this guy to death. Okay. He never ran a business. He never made more than $30,000 a year, but he taught business. That's like ChatGPT teaching you how to do this, right? It's okay. I'm gonna go on the record here, right? Not on the record because we're not recording. Even better. Don't clip and ship. Yeah, no clipping and shipping. Right? I will find you and I will say tis if I find you. Right? Unless you put the effort in to use ChatGPT, it will give you worse information than if you didn't use it at all. Now, the effort that you would put into ChatGPT is not worth it. It's effort that is better put into other places. So it's a losing game no matter how you splice it.
Well, I guess, listen, it simply comes down to the fact in life, you do have to think about competitive advantages. If anyone can jump on ChatGPT right now, that's not a competitive advantage. Like if it's accessible to everyone, what benefit does it give you? What advantage? You have to have something in your corner that works for you, right? You need to have something in your corner that works for you. So that's why, I guess you could try it. I mean, listen, we played around, we tried with it. It's just not robust, and it's worse than nothing. And I will tell you why. So I'm sitting at a conference a couple of weeks ago. I'm in Las Vegas. A guy thought he was really funny, pretty well-known guy too. He puts it in the chat and he turns it to me and says, Jason, is this what you would recommend? Because he went to ChatGPT and he said, check out my webinar and analyze it to see what Fladlien would recommend. So I'm at least famous enough that ChatGPT has tried to steal my stuff, unsuccessfully, I might add, right? But it thinks it knows what I think. And he turns to me and he goes, does this look accurate to you? And here's what I said to him. I said, I hope everybody follows the information that ChatGPT just gave you, because it will put you on the wrong road and I will have more of the road to myself. So tell everybody to use the information that ChatGPT gives you, okay? Here's a huge lesson for all of you. Write this down. This is super important. Winning is about subtraction. It's not about addition. So if we subtract all of the reasons you will fail, we will only be left with the reasons that you will succeed. If we subtract all the excuses you have, then what's left is just doing the damn thing. If we subtract all of the distractions that are in your life, we will double your productivity without teaching you a single fucking productivity hack, all right? You won't need a second brain on Notion, right? You won't need to follow another YouTuber who's going to show you how to, Ali Abdul your life to whatever, right? We just remove what doesn't work, and what's left is what does work. This is how Elon Musk, love him or hate him, became the richest person in the world. He removed all of the things that didn't need to be there and then just focused on what was left. So ChatGPT adds things to the equation. Our little secret thing, so secret we won't even reveal it tomorrow. That's how secret it is, right? This is what's fun about Uncut, right? Some of those people that left in the first hour because they're like, when's the baby going to be due? It's 1 month. Let's pull the baby out of the womb, right? They're missing this right now. As all of the people that seem opportunity in front of them and then lose it, that's what happens to them. They're missing it, okay? So our secret tool, which will be revealed in due time, doesn't put more information into the AI. It puts less information into the AI. It puts the best information into the AI. I want you to imagine a scenario. There's 3 doors in front of you. Behind every door, there is money, okay? Does it matter which door you open if they all contain money? Now, some may contain more money than others, but if they all contain money, you win 100% of the time, okay? Here's what ChatGPT does. It says, here's the 6 digits to the safe that unlocks the secrets you need to win in life. And then it says, now here's 562 other digits sprinkled in those 6 digits, right? Because more is better, isn't it? And so we reduce the noise and we come up with a statue of fucking David. That's how we create art. We don't put more paint on the canvas. We remove the marble from the block and we're left with our masterpiece. So that's the power of the proper form of AI. Now, we didn't want to get into that during the formal part of the presentation because we're speaking to a whole bunch of people under a certain condition, under a certain context, which, by the way, my friend, and we'll talk about this more, context over content. Teaching somebody the thing in the right context is more important than the content that you teach to them, right? So I'll give you a good one. I'm a father of 3. I have 3 kids. One of the reasons I'm not so famous is because I had to raise 2 kids all by myself as a single father, which was about 1 million times harder than making $1 million, by the way. Yeah. So God bless all of the parents out there.
And if I would sit down with my kids and I would explain to them how valuable it was to clean their room and the importance of cleanliness is next to godliness and all of the making your bed when you wake up first thing in the morning and all the ramifications and benefits of how it will pay off later in life, right? I would have got about a 0% conversion rate on that, right? But if I said, hey, listen, we're going to be watching this movie later and every kid with a clean room gets to watch the movie, that was their choice. I'll give you one better. This one went a little viral for my standards. I reached some people with this when I was flying back to France because we were living in France for the first part of this year. Long story, don't ask. And the kids are flying back with France to me to LA. And I say to them, read 5 business books and I'll buy you a business class ticket because business class is for business people, or sit in economy, your choice. And they thought about it and they said, Dad, I'm going to sit in economy. I said, great. So they flew in economy. I flew in business class, right? Then afterwards, I said, were you satisfied with your decision? If they were, great. They made it and they owned it. If they weren't, they now knew the path. It cost 5 business books in order to get business class tickets. I didn't have to educate them on the importance of investing in this. I gave them an opportunity to grow. Some people take it, some people don't. So that's context. Context. I can teach less information to more people, the right information in the right context. And in the digital product business, this is fucking powerful. Now, here's the problem with it. This is like trying to teach you advanced physics and you're just learning algebra. For most of you, you're not ready for advanced physics yet. So you won't calibrate to context. You won't have the sixth sense that's only developed after doing this a couple million times like I've done it, right? So instead, you get a B+ by using a tool instead of getting an A+ by using the cognition and the effort and the experience like people like Iman and I have to rely on, right? And you got to live the rest of your life because I'll tell you, I significantly have not been any happier making $100 million than I would when I made my first $100,000. The rest of this is mission-based for me. But what really changed my life was having breathing room financially. And, if we put the breathing room challenge, nobody would give a shit about that, right? So you got to sex it up a little bit. You got to get attention. You got to make noise. But nonetheless, context over content. And bet your ass we're going to be teaching you this stuff. And we're going to be giving you an opportunity to do something with it. We're going to give you 2 choices. You can go alone, and we're going to give you the best way to empower you to do it alone. And then if you want to invest some time and money with us further, we're going to give you that option too. Regardless, though, our goal in the limited time that we have for this launch is to be as present and available to you as possible to give you the most game that we possibly can to all of you. That doesn't mean that we will give exactly each and every single one of you individually the perfect thing for you, but this is efficiency. By reaching the most of you for free with what we can do here today, we can get the most overall net impact. And then if that flows back to WAP, even better, right? All right. Do we want to answer some more questions? Oh God, this is good. Now they're like, is DeepSeek good enough, right? Let me tell you this. I've been through this a few times. I'm old, guys. In internet years, I'm about 2,677 years old, right? I was predated by ClickFunnels. Okay. So I don't know if you've ever heard of ClickFunnels. I am the reason that webinar works so good. I am the reason that Russell Brunson is where he is today. If you've read Russell's stuff, it's a Xerox copy of the Mona Lisa. Let's just put it that way. And I can say that because we're not recording. By the way, you can find me saying that because we have recorded it before, because the truth is the truth, regardless if it sounds nice or not, right? There's about 150 funnel builders before ClickFunnels, and there's been 150 afterwards, right? And we can get in this idea of what tool will work and what tool won't work. I will tell you 98% of the AI tools that exist right now will not exist in 2 years. The way that these markets always play out is as a market matures, everybody else dies. I'll give you 2 examples. There's Coca-Cola, there's Pepsi, and then there's nothing. Royal Crown Cola, I don't know, doesn't get out of here. That doesn't count, right?
Virgin Cola.
Yeah, whatever, right? There's the iPad, there's the Surface, there's Tesla, we don't even... As markets mature, there becomes one dominant player, there becomes one secondary player, and maybe, but very rarely, one tertiary player. And so all of you right now are trying to make a bet on an unknown object. In the business, we call that dangerous. Here's how I like to do it. I like to find a winning lottery ticket and then cash it in. I don't like to play the lottery, right? So how do we get winning lottery tickets for free? That's what I try to solve for. And so I have to have a thing that most people don't know about. It has to be designed in a specific way that most people aren't aware of. And so AI, like DeepSeek, is designed for the masses. Public education is designed for the masses. This is why I never learned how to get rich in school, because getting rich is not designed for the masses. You follow me here? So if you need an AI tool that works for you, you have to have one that's designed specifically for the thing you're trying to solve for. And then it has to be good, and then it has to be supported, and then it has to be battle tested, and then it has to be iterative, meaning it gets better the more that it's useful, and on and on and on and on and on and on. So you got to have somebody who knows what they're doing that develops something like that. I don't know if that kind of sounds like maybe something we have up our sleeves, but by the way, if it's not, you don't have to do the thing with us. Take the same criteria and go out there, my friend, and try to find another AI tool that does it. I don't care, as an independent third party here, I don't care who you put your money in. I care about the result you get from the investment you make. That's the name of the game. And I've always been that way. Now they say, don't ask a barber if you need a haircut, right? So I am obviously partial to what I know to be true based on what I've seen. And what I've seen is what we have here is incredible. But even without the tool, we'll show you how to get the same output. I used to paint houses for a living, $12 an hour when I got the raise, $10 before that. It was misery. So I would do that during the day. And in the morning before I would go work for this guy,